Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Code with Surya Official. Today we are going to create an awesome animated login page using HTML and Tailwind CSS. And for a beautiful animations, we are going to use animate.css. We will also add some cool features like real-time email validation as you type and a handy show hide password toggle so you can easily check what you have entered. This project is going to simple, clean and user friendly, perfect for modern web projects. This is the awesome project that we are going to build today. So if you are new to this channel, then please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. And if you are ready, then let's get started. Now I am in the Visual Studio Code editor. I already created a folder, name is login. Inside this folder we are going to create our HTML file. So let's create our HTML file and our HTML file name is index.html. To generate this HTML boilerplate, need to write exclamation mark plus enter, so it will generate this HTML boilerplate. So let's change the title first. So the title is animated login form. So in this project we are going to use Tailwind CSS. So let's check for the Tailwind CDN. So let's search here tailwindcss.com. Okay, so this is the official website for Tailwind. So let's click this get started button. From there I'm going to click this play CDN tab, and if I come down there is a script tag. So let's copy this script tag and let's go back to the VS Code, and after this title tag need to paste it here. So you can see Tailwind CSS CDN has been linked in our HTML file. Let me create a BG color here. So BG gradient to BR, that means bottom right, from blue 50 to indigo 100, and mean height is screen. Padding is 4. So save it and check it in our browser. So you can see our background color has been applied in the screen. So this looks fine. Now I am going to create our login form in the center of this screen. So for that, let me go back to the VS Code, and inside this body tag, let me create a div, and here need to create a class. Width is full and max width is MD. And inside this div, I'm going to create our login card. So let me write a comment here, login card. And below this comment, I'm going to create a div. Class is, before writing the class, let me close this side window and let me zoom it. Okay, so this looks fine. So let me create a class for this div. So the BG color is white and rounded is 2XL, and shadow also 2XL, and overflow is hidden. Okay, so inside this div, I'm going to create our header section of this card. So let me create a div, and here let me create a class, and the class is position is relative and height is 48. We need to put the BG gradient color. So BG gradient to right from blue 500 to indigo 600. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. So this is our header section. So I need to put this login card to the center of the screen. So for that, let's go back to the VS Code, and in the body tag, let me create a class. So display is flex, items is center, and justify is also center. So save it and check it in the browser. You can see our card is coming exactly center of the screen. Okay. Now I am going to create a icon here and some text in the below. So for that, let me go back to the VS Code, and inside this div, I am going to create another div, and here inside this div, let me create a h1 tag, and here need to write welcome back as a text, and below this h1 tag need to create a paragraph tag, and here need to write sign in to your account. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. So this is not looking good. So let me create a class for this. Position is relative and G index is 10, text is center and padding is 6. Okay, and inside this div we have a h1 tag. So let me create a class for this h1 tag. So text is 2XL, font weight is bold, and text color should be white color, and margin top is 4. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. Okay, so this looks fine. So let me do for this below paragraph. Okay, so for that, let me create a class for this paragraph. And here also, so text color is blue 100. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. So in the top of this title, we need to put a icon here. So for that, we are going to use font as of icon. So before that, we need to link the font awesome CDN. So let me check for the font awesome CDN here. So this is the official website for font awesome CDN. So let me copy this link tag. So let's go back to the VS Code, and after this title, need to paste it here. So you can see font awesome CDN has been linked in our HTML file. Let's go back to the browser. Let me open a new tab and let's search for font awesome library. Okay, so let's click this link. So this is the official website for font awesome library. So let me click this icon menu, and here need to search user circle. Press enter. So it will display lot of icons here. So let's click this first icon. So it will open up a pop-up. So let me copy this code snippet and inside this div and before this h1 tag, let me paste it here. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. Okay, so this is too small. Let's write here text is 6XL and text color should be white color. So save it and check it in the browser. So this looks fine. Okay, so I'm going to put some animation here. So for that, I'm going to use animate.css. So let me search here animate.css. Click this first link. So this is the official website for animate.css library. Okay, so if you click here, so you can see this demo. Okay, so it is bouncing. So it is back in down. So back in left. So these are the animations here. So you can check it like this. So if I come down, so you can see they are showing how to install this package. But I'm not going to install the package. I'm going to take this CDN. So for that, let's copy this link tag and let's go back to the VS Code. And after this link tag, let me paste it here. So you can see our animate.css library has been linked in our HTML file. So let's go back to the code. Now I am going to apply the animation here. So for that, animate __ fade in. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. If I reload the page, nothing is happened. Okay, just because of before writing this animation class, let me write another utility class that is called animate __ animated. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So if I reload the page, now you can see. So this is the beautiful animation here. So now let me create an animation for this icon also. So for that, here we have this icon. So after this text white, let me put here also animate __ animated, animate __ bounce in. So save it and check it in the browser. So if I reload the page, then you can see it is bouncing. You can observe this icon, so it is bouncing. Now I am going to put the animation for this text. Okay, so for that, again in the welcome back text, here I am writing animate __ animated, and here I am going to write the animation class. So animate __ fade in off. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So if I reload the page, then you can see the animation is coming for this welcome back text. Okay, now I'm going to use this animation for this paragraph also. So for that, again need to write animate __ animated. Now I'm going to write the animation class. So animate __ fade in off. So save it and check it in the browser. So if I reload the page, So you can see both the text animation is coming in the same time. So I need to delay for this below text. Okay. So for that we have another class. So that is animate underscore underscore. We need to delay for 1 second. So delay dash 1 second. Okay. So save it and check it in the browser. So if I reload the page, then you can see after 1 second the paragraph will display here. Okay. So this looks beautiful. Great. So our header section is done. So let me go for the next section. Okay. So let's create a div here, and here need to create a class, and padding is 8. Okay. So inside this div, I'm going to create a form here. So let me create a form tag. So form action is has as of now, and inside this form tag I need to create a div for the animation here, and inside this div let me create a label text here. So label, and here HTML4 is email, and the label text is email address. Save it and check it in the browser. So this is the label text. Okay. So let me create a class for this label text. So this is the inline element. So let me change to block level element. And next one is text is SM. Font weight is medium. And text color is gray 700. And margin bottom is 1. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. So let me zoom it. Okay, so you can see this is our label text. So below we are going to create our input tag. Okay, so for that let me go back to the VS Code, and below this label need to create a div, and inside this div I am going to create our input tag. So let me create a input tag. So the type is email, and name also email, and ID also email, and placeholder is example@email.com. So save it and check it in the browser. Here is our input box for email. So let me go back to the VS Code, and let's create a class for this email first. Okay. So for that py is 3, padding left is 10. So this input tag is a inline element. So let's change it to block level element. Okay. So width is full, and need to put some border here. So border, and the border color is gray 300, and rounded is LG. Outline is none. So save it and check it in our browser. So if I click here, there is no outline. So but here you can see, if you observe here in the left hand side, I need to put an icon here. Okay, so for that let me go back to the font awesome library, and here I am going to write envelope. Press enter. So it will display all the icons. So if I click this first icon, it will display this pop-up. So let's copy this code snippet. Let me go back to the VS Code. So after this div, let me create another div, and inside this div I am going to paste it here. So save it and check it in the browser. So you can see here it is. Okay, but I want to put this envelope icon inside this input tag. Okay, so for that let's go back to the VS Code, and here for the first parent div let me create a class, and here position is relative. So let's create a class for this inner div, and here position is absolute. Inset y is 0, and left is 0, and padding left is 3. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. Okay, the icon is coming inside this input tag, but it is not in the vertically center. So for that we have a display property. So display is flex, items is center. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. Now you can see it is exactly coming in the vertically center. Okay, great. If I hover over this icon, then you can see this pointer, but I need to remove this pointer. Okay, so for that we have a property called pointer events none. So save it and check it in the browser. So if I hover over, then you can see it is not showing this pointer icon here. So this looks fine. But if you can observe here, this icon is black color. Okay, so for that we need to change the text color to gray 400. So save it and check it in the browser. So this looks absolutely awesome. So our input boxes looks beautiful. Okay, so we need to put some validation here. So if I write something here, so it will show a icon in the right hand side. Okay, so for that let's go back to the VS Code, and before that I need to put it here required. Okay, so required property in this input tag. So after this input tag I need to create a div here. Okay, so let me create a div, and inside this div here I am going to show the check mark. Okay, so for that we have a check circle. So here it is. So if I click this icon, it will open up this pop-up. So let me copy this code snippet. Let's go back to the VS Code, and inside this div let me paste it here. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So you can see this is our icon, but I need to put this icon to in the right of this input box. So for that let me create a class for this parent div, and here position is absolute, and here also insert y is 0, but here right is 0, and padding right is 3. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. You can see it is in the top of this input box, but I need to put in the vertically center. So for that again we need to write display is flex, item is center. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. But if you can notice here again, if I hover over this icon, again it is showing this pointer symbol. Pointer events is none. So save it, check it in the browser. So this looks absolutely awesome. But I need to change the color icon. Okay, so for that the text is green 500. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. So this looks fine, but I don't want to display at the initial stage. Okay, so for that what I have to do is opacity is 0, and we need to put some duration here. So duration is 300. Input is valid. If the input is valid, then only it will display this icon. So if I write something here, it is not displaying the icon. So here before this body tag, let me create a script tag here. Okay, and inside this script tag I'm going to write document dot query selector all, and here we need to target the input tag. Okay, so input dot for each, and here we need to iterate the input. Inside that I'm going to put a event listener here, input dot add event listener, and inside I'm going to create a input event, and here I'm going to create a function. So inside this condition, I'm going to write the if condition here. This dot value dot length is greater than 0. Then what will happen here? So we need to add here this dot next element sibling, and inside that I'm going to write here query selector, and we need to add this dot input dash valid, and inside that I'm going to use class list dot remove. We need to remove, what we have to remove is we need to remove this opacity 0. We need to remove this opacity 0. Okay, and in the else block let's copy this code snippet and paste it here, and instead of this remove we need to put it here add. Okay, save it and check it in the browser. So if I write something here, okay, still it is not working, so let me check it. So input valid opacity, okay, opacity is typo, so it should be opacity is 0, remove, and in the below add. So save it and check it in the browser. So if I write here something, so you can see the check symbol is displaying. So if I start removing from here, so you can see again it is gone. So if I write something, again it is coming. Okay, great. So this is done. Okay, so the last one is I am going to put some animation here. So for that let me go back to the VS Code. So in the top we have this div. Oh, okay, so let me create a class for this div, animate underscore underscore animated, and here animate underscore underscore fade in left. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So if I reload the page, then you can see this beautiful animation. but I want to delay here. So for that we need to put animate underscore underscore delay for 1 second. Okay, save it and check it. Now you can see this looks beautiful. Great. So our email input is done. So let's do it for the password. And for the password, I am going to copy this entire div for this input and for this email input and paste it here. Okay. So here, instead of this email, we need to put it here password, type is password, name also password, ID also password, and the placeholder is we need to remove this placeholder and paste this placeholder. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. Okay, so before that we need to change the label text here. So the label text also password. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. Okay, so this looks fine, but we need to change this icon here. You can see here is the email box. Okay, so instead of that we need to put a log symbol here. So let me search it for log. It is displayed the icon. So let me click this icon. So it will open up this pop-up. So let me copy this code snippet. So remove this I tag and paste it here. Okay. And instead of this email for, we need to put it here password. So save it and check it in the browser. So you can see this looks fine. Okay. So, but here the problem is if I write something here, so the check icon is displaying here. But I don't want this symbol. Instead of that, I need to put the I icon here. So for that, let me go back to the code. Instead of this circle, we need to check for the I icon here. Need to put I. So this is the icon. So click this icon. So it will open up this pop-up. Copy this code snippet and paste it here. So save it and check it in the browser. So you can see this looks absolutely awesome. Okay. So in the top we have this animation class. So instead of this fade in left, we need to put fade in right. So save it and check it in the browser. Okay. So this looks absolutely awesome. And here one more thing, our password label is attached to the top. So for that we need to put some margin top is 4. So save it and check it in the browser. So this looks absolutely awesome. But here you can see if I write something here in the password for the password and if I click this icon visible this password. Okay, I'm going to implement this features. Okay, so for that let me go back to the VS Code and here, so instead of this I tag, let me create a button here. So let's code this code and let's create a button here, and inside this button I am going to paste this code. Okay, so let's create a class for this button. We need to write cursor is pointer. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. Okay, so when I click this I icon, then the password is visible here. So for that, let's go back to the VS Code and let's create a JavaScript here. Okay, so before that, I'm going to create a ID for this button and the ID is toggle password. So let's copy this ID and go back to the JavaScript code. Okay, so here after this line, document dot get element by ID, and we need to put this ID toggle password, and here I am going to put a event listener for this ID. We need to create a click event here and let's create a function, and inside this function I am going to write document dot get element by ID. We are going to target the password ID. We are targeting this password input. So let's create a constant variable and the variable name is password input. So we are getting the value and store it inside this password input. Okay, great. So after that we are going to put an icon also. Okay, so for that this dot query selector, and here we are targeting the I tag. So let me create a constant variable and the constant variable name is icon, and we are targeting this I tag and putting this value inside this icon variable. Okay, great. So after that we are going to write the condition here. So if password input dot type is triple equals to password, okay, then password input dot type we are going to change it to text. Okay, if the input type is password, then we are going to change the type to text. Okay, and we are going to change the icon also. Icon dot classless dot remove. First we are going to remove this icon. Okay, this icon. So this icon is fai. You can observe here it is fai. So we are going to remove this icon. Okay, and we are going to add another icon here. So icon dot class list dot add fa dash I dash slash. Okay, so we are going to add this icon here. Else we are going to copy this code and paste it here. If the input type is password, then change the type to text, and if it is a text, then again change it to password. Okay, password. And here we are going to change, we are going to remove this fai slash 2 here, and we are going to add it to fa dash I. That's it. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So you can see if I start writing here testing at 1 2, this is the password, and if I click here this icon, the icon is changed, and at the same time I can see this password also. Okay, so this is a toggle button. So this works perfectly. Okay, great. So our password also completed. So let's go back to the next section. Okay, so the next section is remember me and forgot password. Okay, so for that I need to collapse this div, and here below this div I'm going to create another div for this remember me section, and inside this div I'm going to create another two div into 2. Okay, so the first one is remember me, and the next comment is forgot password. Let's target this remember me section. Let me create a input tag, and here the type is checkbox. So save it and check it in the browser. So here is this checkbox. So let's create a label here. So for that I need to copy this label and paste it here. And instead of this password I need to write here remember me. Remember dash me. Copy this remember me text, and let's create a ID here, and let me paste it here. So save it and check it in the browser. So if I click this remember me, so you can see. So the checkbox is working perfectly. So if you can observe here, our checkbox is in the top, and below we have this text. So let me create a class, and the class is display is flex and items is center. Save it and check it in the browser. So you can see it is coming in the same line. So if you can observe here, checkbox and this text is attached to each other. So for that we need to put some gap here. So for that margin left is 2. Save it and check it in the browser. So this looks fine. So let's do it for the forgot password section. Let's go back to the code. We have this div, and inside this div I'm going to create a anchor tag here. Okay, so the href is has, and let's write the text forgot password. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So here is the forgot password text, but I need to put it in the right hand side. In the parent div we need to create a class. So display is flex, items is center, and justify is between. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. Okay, but you can see our text is attached to the input tag. So for that, let's write here, right, margin top is 2. So save it and check it in the browser. So this looks absolutely awesome. Now I'm going to change this text color. So for that, let me create a class for this anchor tag. Font weight is medium and text color should be blue 600. And if I hover over this text, then text color should be changed to blue 500. Okay, I need to put some transition here. So transition and duration is need to put 300 milliseconds. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. Here I need to put a question mark. That's it. Okay, so this looks awesome. So this is done. So the last one is I'm going to put a button here. So for that, let's go back to the VS Code and here in the top, let me collapse this div. Okay, password div. So after this div, I'm going to create a comment here, sign in, and here I'm going to create our button. So for that, let's create a button here. So button and the text is sign in, and here I'm going to create a class width is full and padding y is 3, padding x is 4, red is LG, and let's write here shadow is 2XL, font weight is medium, need to put the text color is white color, so background color is blue 600. So save it and check it in our browser. So here is the button. Okay, I need to change the hover effect here. Let's write here hover effect. If I hover over this button, then bg color should be changed to blue 700. So save it and check it in our browser. So here it is. Okay, but I need to put some animation here. So for that, transition and duration is 300. Let's put a transform here. So transform. Okay, so if I hover over this button, then scale will be changed to scale is changed to 1.02. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. Okay, so this looks beautiful. And the last one is I am going to change the cursor is pointer. Okay, so the cursor is pointer. Save it and check it. So this looks awesome. And here you can see our button and this text is attached to each other. So let's write here margin top is 6. So save it and check it in the browser. So this looks awesome. Okay, now I am going to put a sign in icon here. So for that, let's search it here, sign in. So let's click this icon. It will open up this pop-up. So let me copy this code snippet. So here I need to paste it. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. So this looks absolutely awesome. So let's do some more animation for this button. So for that, code this entire button code and let's create a div here and inside that paste it here. So let's create a class for this div and let's put here animate underscore underscore animated, and here animate underscore underscore fade in out, but here I'm going to put 2 seconds of delay. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So you can see this looks absolutely awesome. Okay, so let's create for the next section. So for that, after this form tag, I'm going to create another div. So this div for animation, and inside this div I'm going to create another div, and here inside this child div I'm going to create another 2 div. So div into 2, and in the below div let's create a span tag and let's write here or continue with. Okay, so for the span tag, let's create a class for this span tag and padding x is 2, background color is white color, and text color is gray 500. And let's put it here in the parent div. Let's create another class and position is relative, display is flex, justify is center, text is SM. So this looks fine. Here I am going to put some divider here. So for that, let me create a class for this div, and here position is absolute, inset is 0. Inside this div, I am going to create another div, and let's create a class, and the width is full, border top is, and border color is gray 300. So save it and check it in the browser. The border is not displaying here just because of, if you can notice here, our position is absolute, but we need to create a class for this parent div and need to put a position is relative here. This is our border. Okay, great. But I want to put in the same line. So let's create a flex box here. So display is flex, items is center. So save it and check it in the browser. Now you can see this looks absolutely awesome. If you notice here, our text and this button is attached to each other. So for that, let's create a class for this parent div, and here margin top is 6. So save it and check it in the browser. Now this looks fine. Okay, so let's put animation for this below item also. So for that, again need to write animate underscore underscore animated, animate underscore underscore fade in, animate underscore underscore delay dash 3 seconds. Now I am going to put 3 seconds here. So save it and check it. Now you can see this looks beautiful. Our divider section also done. So let's check it for the next section. So the next section is, I am going to collapse this div, and inside this div I am going to create another div. Inside this div, let me create another div. Okay, and here I am going to create and inside this div I am going to create an anchor tag here. So let's put a social media icon here. So let's search a Facebook icon. So click this icon. So it will open up this pop-up. So copy this code snippet and let's paste it here. So save it and check it in the browser. So this is our Facebook icon. Okay, great. So let's go back to the VS Code. So here I'm going to create a class for this parent div. So width is full and we need to put it here. Inline is flex and justify is center. Padding y is 2. Padding x is 4. Okay, need to put some border here and the border color is gray 300. And rounded is HG and text is SM and the font weight is medium and the text color is text gray 700. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. Okay, so this looks absolutely awesome. Okay, great. If I hover over, then I need to change the background color. So if I hover over, then background color is changed to gray 50. Okay, I need to put some transition here. So transition duration is 300. Okay, great. So if you can see here, I'm going to put some animation for this Facebook icon. So let's create a class for this div. Here I'm going to write animate underscore underscore animated and animate underscore underscore fade in left, and it should be 3-second delay. So save it and check it in the browser. Now this looks absolutely awesome. Okay, so this is the Facebook icon. So let's do it for the other icon also. So let's copy this div and paste it for another 3 times. Okay, so this is the Google icon. So let me click this icon. Let me copy this code snippet and cut this code and paste it here. And the last icon is GitHub icon. So let me search for GitHub. Okay, so this is the icon. So click here and copy this code snippet. Here, let's cut this code and paste it here. So save it and check it in the browser so you can see. So these are our icons. Okay, so I need to change the icon color also. So the Facebook color is blue color. So for that, in the Facebook, we need to put it here. Text color is 600. Okay, and for the Google text color is red 500. Okay, save it and check it in the browser. So now I can see. So here it is. But if you can notice here, our icon animation is same for this all. Okay, so for that I'm going to change the animation here. Facebook is coming from left hand side, so the Google icon is coming from below, so in off, and our GitHub icon is coming from right, so it is in right. So save it and check it in the browser. Now you can see this looks beautiful, but here you can see I don't want to show this full width. Okay, so for that let's code this entire code: Facebook div, Google div, and GitHub div. So code this entire code and let's create a div, and here inside this div let me paste it here. Okay, so in the parent div let's create a class, and here margin top is 6. Let's put it here grid, and the grid column is 3. Save it and check it in the browser. So you can observe here our icon are attached to each other. So for that need to put some gap here. So gap is 4. So save it and check it in the browser. This looks absolutely awesome. Okay. So instead of 4 need to put it here 3. So save it and check it in the browser. This looks absolutely fine. So if I hover over this icon, then we need to change the zoom effect here. Okay, so for that let's create a class for this anchor tag, and here I'm going to write, the class social icon. So copy this class and paste it here for other anchor tag. After this link tag, let me create a style tag here, and let's target this social icon class. So the transition is all, and it will take 0.3 second each. Okay, and after that if I hover over this social icon, translate y minus 3 pixels. So save it and check it in the browser. So you can see this is the beautiful animation, but if I hover over the icon, then you can see. Okay, so now I am going to show you the last section. Okay, so here I'm going to create a div, and inside this div let me create a p tag, and here I'm going to write don't have an account. So let's create a anchor tag here, and href is has text, and the text is sign up. So let's create a class for this anchor tag, and here font weight is medium, text color is blue 600, and if I hover over this text, then text color should be changed to blue 500. Okay, so let's write some transition here. So transition and duration is 300. Okay, save it and check it. So if I hover over, then you can see. But if you can observe here, our top icon and this below text is attached to each other. So for that, let's create a class for this parent div. And here I'm going to write margin top is 6 and text is center. And let's create a class for this paragraph also, and text is small and text color is gray 600. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. So this looks absolutely awesome. So let's put some animation for this text. Okay, so here in the top I'm going to put it here animate underscore animated, and let's put it here. So let's put some delay here. So delay is 4 seconds. Okay, so the delay is 4 seconds. So save it and check it in the browser. So here you can see beautiful. So this looks absolutely awesome. If I reload the page, then you can see. So let's check it here. If I write something test@yahoo.com, And if I write something here, testing at 1, 2, and if I click this eye icon, so if I reload the page, then you can see this beautiful animation. Okay, so this is all about this video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really motivates me. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Code with Surya Official. Till then, keep smiling and happy coding. See you in the next video.